Avi Meyer's Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. And you know what? Thank God the election's over, and we're trying something a little different. I have been getting emails from years from the Noreen Heron people, and you know what? I've never actually done anything with them, and I snow them with all my junk mail too, junk email. So I got an interesting request from Catherine Nichols, talking about there's a Jewish actor, and not that this is specifically a Jewish show, doing a show called Freud's Last Session, and the timing is perfect. It's right after the election, so we're gonna do something different here and try to entertain you. It is a pleasure to have the man who's playing Freud himself, Martin Rayner. How are you?
I'm very pleased to meet you. I'm very happy to be here today.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. A pleasure to have you here.
I thought perhaps I would be more interesting than the actor who portrays me. So, good day to you all.
So, in terms of, now, is this actually your last session we're talking about here?
Very much so. It's very close to the end of my life. In fact, it is 3 weeks before the end of my life, where I am suffering from cancer of the jaw, and I asked my doctor to give me some morphine to help me away. But it's a funny play. It's very serious issues being talked about here, sex and religion, and is there a life after death, and so on. But it is also very witty and funny, which saves it, because otherwise it would be very dry talking heads.
Is this an original play, or?
Yes, this was actually based on an idea by a man called Dr. Armand Nicolai, who suggested that perhaps I had met an Oxford Don 3 weeks before I died, which is true. But he didn't know who, and nobody knew who, except me, of course. I know who. But he speculated that this man was C.S. Lewis, an Oxford Don, before he became famous for his writings later on. And so the speculation is that, but everything that is said between the two of them are thoughts that they actually had, writings that they actually wrote, and things that they believed and said.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Where is the play being produced?
It's at the Mercury Theater, which is a quaint, wonderful, I believe it used to be a movie house. But it's a very beautiful theater. I think 300 people or so can be seated in it. And it has excellent acoustics and a bar right next to it. What more could you ask?
No, it sounds nice. The Mercury Theater, I'm trying to think, where is that at?
I am brand new to Chicago, so this is my first visit, but I can tell you that it is on North Southport Street with the intersection of Addison.
Yeah, there's a movie theater just near it, just
the
north of it.
Box.
The Music Box, right. And that's where I've wanted to see art movies and all sorts of interesting things over the years.
Yes.
So, yeah, it would make sense of seeing the Mercury Theater from there, because it was a very familiar name.
Yes, they're right next to each other, very close proximity.
Yeah, that's the 3700 block of Southport.
Yes.
My old office, as a matter of fact, wasn't too far from there, so I am very familiar with the area.
This is also the theater, I believe, where the screw tape letters were for some time, and I believe that's the same audience that we're looking to find here in Chicago.
So yeah, and it sounds like, now is this, we're going to be starting on April 5th. When is the play actually debuted at this point? Or?
We had our first sharing with an audience last night, which went very well. And on Monday, the 26th, we open.
And very
we
good.
open and run. And run, we hope, until June or beyond. Mm-hmm.
No, that would be very good. It's certainly the right area. It's a very popular area, and it's an area where people learn to things like theater and all the rest of it.
Yes.
So it's very logical that you could survive quite a long time there.
We hope so. It's a sort of play that we have found in New York, at least. It has very universal appeal. So we're hoping that this will be true in Chicago. We assume nothing, but we hope.
So, Doctor, is there a specific demographic that you think will tune in? Or?
We used to believe this, and I think initially in New York we had a large Jewish audience, a large Christian audience, a lot of therapists in groups. we have a lot of groups come. But when we now have is also the younger demographic, people as young as 11 and 12.
Wow.
At Christmas week we had two 11-year-old boys who chose the show for their Christmas present.
Wow.
And the reason for this is that it seems that this younger generation is interested in ideas. And they have access to Spider-Man and all of those things. But if you expose a child to fast food and good food, eventually they will orient to the good food.
I hope so.
And this is true in theater also. So they like to come to see substantial ideas which are put across with humor. So our demographic now, to answer your question, is really across the board. But I hope that initially people who are interested in Freud's Jewishness, in the Christian point of view of C.S. Lewis and those issues will come and support us.
No, I hope so too. It sounds like a very interesting presentation, and of course, you are obviously a very skilled actor as well as a psychologist yourself.
Well, I've been working at it a while. Yes.
So there's another gentleman here from your production.
I didn't know this. Who is this?
That is Mitch, I believe.
Oh, Mitch brought me here. Yes, yes. I'm sorry. I thought it meant somebody entirely.
Yeah, I just like to give people credit when they're actually here.
Yes,
so.
yes. Yes.
So he is the director of the production? Oh, no, he's not. I'm sorry.
He's our company manager. Our director, Tyler Marchand, is in town, actually, working with us until we open.
Oh,
yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So, you know what? Let's talk a little bit. We've been talking to Dr. Freud. Let's talk a little bit about Martin Rayner.
I'd love to. How are you? Nice to meet you.
A pleasure. And you were telling me that you've been playing old people for quite some time.
Well, yes. It's I've always been a character actor, and the reason was because I didn't have a sort of leading man looks and all of those things that would sort of catapult you into being more of a personality actor. And I was sort of from the Alec Guinness school of thought early on because I seemed to have the ability to become other people. So that was the way my career went. So
I was a big Alec Guinness man.
Yeah, at first I was very Star Trek early on, and I wanted to be a star,
Yeah.
But as the craft became more important to me, I began to appreciate people like him much more, and so I'm very glad to have followed my path that way.
No, that sounds good. As a matter of fact, I still remember there used to be it was an old-time theater called the Clark Theater at downtown that used to play old movies. And it wasn't that old at the time, but they would play things that were obviously like out of the theater at 2 or 3 years, or sometimes 30 or 40 years. And I saw a Bridge Over the River Kwai there.
Oh, me too. I remember that yes.
And that was my first Alec Guinness experience, and that just totally captivated me.
That was one of my early great movies too. Yes, those very early things really influence you, don't they?
Very much.
And I think unconsciously he probably has for many years before I realized it,
Now, obviously, you have an English accent.
I do, yes. Yeah, I'm an American citizen now, though. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, where were you originally born?
I was born on the Isle of Wight, which is off the south coast of England, and raised north of London in an old Roman city called St. Albans. And then moved to London, of course, to train as an actor.
Yeah, and you are Jewish, as I know from. That was originally Catherine's pitch from Noreen here,
right,
to get you on the show. So, and how long have you been acting at this point?
It's 40-odd years, 42 years, I think.
Wow.
I started when I was 20, and so you do the math. But it's been quite a ride. It's been an interesting ride because part of it was in England, and then when I came to America to be with my son, who was very young, it was a whole new chapter for me in the middle of my life. So it's been an interesting road, and a roller coaster, as most people's.
No, it sounds it. I want to thank you very much, Martin Rayner.
It's a pleasure.
Good luck in Freud's Last Session, which is playing at the Mercury Theater on the 3700 block of Southport. I want to thank Catherine from Noreen Heron & Associates, and I'm glad we finally could hook up and get somebody from your agency on the show. And I also want to thank Martin, who's the company manager.
Mitch.
I'm sorry. See, I knew I was going to. I told you I'm bad at names. But, anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Sonny Hirsch. And I hope you'll check out the play. It sounds like it's really good, and I'll be probably checking it out myself. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.